good time, and I hope you guys are learning something from this, and I hope you guys are binding the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator into your heart, mind, and souls, and into the heart, mind, and souls of your family, and that we are able to come as a giant family under Yahuwah that is under the banner of a king, Yahushua HaMashiach, the only name under heaven by which man may be saved. It all makes sense when you read these books. It all makes sense when you read these stories. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm truly enjoying my Shabbat reading this. And it's been a while since I've read this, so I'm rereading it again. And we are in chapter 26. For those who are joining me on this day, I'm just zipping through these real quick and discussing them, and then we'll see what Yah says. 26. Then Adam took Eve, and they began to return to the cave of treasures where they dwelt. But when they neared it and saw it from afar, heavy sorrow fell upon Adam and Eve when they looked at it. Then Adam said to Eve, "When we were on the mountain, we were comforted by the word of Yahuwah that conversed with us, and the light that came from the east shone over us. But now the word of Yahuwah is hidden from us, and the light that shone over us is so changed as to disappear, and let darkness and sorrow come upon us. And we are forced to enter this cave, which is like a prison, wherein darkness covers us, so that we are parted from each other, and thou canst not see me, neither can I see thee." And again, I don't know how to describe this so that everyone can understand this, but these are people that were born into an adult body that never had the experience of darkness. Darkness can be a scary thing, especially when you don't know what is in it. We all have we're in the days we live into, you flip a light switch on and you have light. But our forefather Adam and grandmother Eve, they didn't have this kind of stuff. And this is only day 2, right? This is day 2 of being outside of the garden. So much has happened already on day 2. They're just cutting their teeth on this, and it's going to be sorrowful for a very long time. Verse 5. When Adam had said these words, they wept and spread their hands before Yahuwah, for they were full of sorrow. And they entreated Yahuwah to bring the sun to them, to shine on them, so that darkness return not unto them, upon them. And they come not again under this covering of rock, and they wish to die rather than see the darkness. Then Yahuwah looked upon Adam and Eve, and upon their great sorrow, and upon all they had done with a fervent heart, on account of all the trouble they were in, instead of their former well-being, and on account of all the misery that came upon them in a strange land. Therefore Yahuwah was not wroth with them, nor impatient with them, but he was long-suffering and forbearing towards them, as towards the children he had created. Then came the word of Yahuwah to Adam, and said unto him, Adam, as for the sun, if I were to take it and bring it to thee, days, hours, years, and months would all come to naught, and the covenant I have made with thee would never be fulfilled. Now, why wouldn't it be fulfilled? Well, because the sun and the moon are part of the cycle. There's a 7-day cycle through everything, and without the 7-day cycle, we don't have time. And so if we didn't have the sun and Yah brought the sun to Adam, he wouldn't be able to fulfill the covenant. There's 5,500 years before we are to be returned to the garden. Verse 10. But thou shouldest then be turned and left in a long plague, and no salvation would be left to thee forever. Yea, rather bear long and calm thy soul while thou abidest night and day, until the fulfillment of the days and the time of my covenant is come. Then shall I come and save thee, O Adam, for I do not wish that thou be afflicted. And when I looked at all the good things in which thou didst live, and why thou camest out of them, then would I willingly show thee mercy. But I cannot alter the covenant that has gone out of my mouth, else would I have brought thee back into the garden. This is another thing. When our Creator says something, he doesn't go back on it. We have 50,000 religions in the world that will tell you that the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator are gone. That is contrary to everything else out there. If that was the case, then what he just said right here, where he says what came out of his mouth is the covenant. He fulfills what he says. He sent us a salvation. He sent us a deliverer. He did that. He will not go back on what he says. And so we must adjust ourselves to that same kind of cycle. Verse 15. When, however, the covenant was fulfilled, then shall I show thee and thy seed mercy, and bring thee into a land of gladness, where there is neither sorrow nor suffering, but abiding joy and gladness, and light that never fails, and praises that never cease, and a beautiful garden that shall never pass away. Guys, so these are promises that, yes, they are to Adam, but they are also to us. We are the seed of Adam. We have to be the seed of Adam. There's no other way out of it, right? And so we have a promise that our Creator is coming for us. It's not going to be this God-forsaken land that we are walking on now, and it's only God-forsaken because we have pushed God away from these lands. When Yah comes, it's going to be an amazing time. When the Mashiach, Yahushua comes, it's going to be amazing. And we're going to make it back to the garden. I cannot wait. If I could even just look into the garden, I'd be all right. Right? I don't know so much as I would have the qualities to make the garden, but that's what my wishes are. That's what I really want to do, is be back to the garden. I want joy and gladness. I want light that never fails, praises that never cease. I want a beautiful garden. That's what I want. And Yahuwah said again unto Adam, verse 16, Be long-suffering and enter the cave, for the darkness of which thou wast afraid shall only be 12 hours long, and when ended, light shall arise. And again, he's telling them, hey, this is only 12 hours. And for those that hear like the tapping sounds, I'll listen to it real quick. That's my tin roof. When the sun comes out and goes down, we don't have like ceilings like normal people. We have a piece of tin that is over our head completely. And so as the sun comes up, it makes the tin make these sounds. So it sounds like it's raining. It's really not. I'm super sorry. Hopefully you can consider it a sound effect and that is peaceful. But I can't do anything about it. So again, in verse 16, he says, it's 12 hours long, right? He's reiterating 12 hours. And Adam's like, what is 12 hours? Verse 17. Then when Adam heard these words from Yahuwah, he and Eve worshipped before him, and their hearts were comforted. They returned into the cave after their custom, while tears flowed from their eyes, sorrow and wailing came from their hearts, and they wished their soul would leave their body. And Adam and Eve stood praying until the darkness of night came upon them. And Adam was hid from Eve, and she from him. And they remained standing in prayer. Okay. 27. When Hasatan, Satan, the hater of all good, saw how they continued in prayer and how Yahuwah communed with them and comforted them and how he had accepted their offering, Hasatan made an apparition, a ghost, right? He made something. He began with transforming his host in his hands with a flashing fire, and they were in a great light. Okay, what are we talking about here? So Hasatan is able to transform his hosts. What hosts? Well, we know that the number 33 is a satanic number, and they love that number because a third, 33% of the hosts of the Shamayim were tossed out of the heaven, right? And so if Yah has 50 million angels that he had created, then we're talking something like 15 to 20 million of these suckers are down here afflicting us on the side of Hasatan. So he wields this kind of power, and this is why these books are very important that you understand, because as humans, we don't see the supernatural side of things, right? We hear about it, we're spooked about ghosts, or we hear about things of this nature, right? But we do not understand that the entire physical form, there's so much more than what we're seeing. So Hasatan transforms his host. In his hands was a flashing fire, and there was a great light. He then placed his throne near the mouth of the cave because he could not enter it by reason of their prayers. And he shed light into the cave until the cave glistened over Adam and Eve while his host began to sing praises. Wow, this is yet another trick. So you're seeing the duping delight of Hasatan, how crafty this guy is. Verse 4. And Satan did this in order that when Adam saw the light, he should think within himself that it was a heavenly light, and that Satan's hosts were angels, and that Yahuwah had sent them to watch at the cave and give him light in the darkness. So when Adam came out of the cave and saw them, and Adam and Eve bowed to Satan, then he would overcome Adam thereby, and a second time humble him before Yahuwah. My friends, If you do not think that your soul is extremely important, it's extremely important to Hasatan. He wants your soul, right? He wants you to be humbled before Yah. He wants to be your God, right? Lowercase g. Verse 6. When therefore Adam and Eve saw the light, fancying it was real, they strengthened their hearts. Yet as they were trembling, Adam said to Eve, look at the great light and at those many songs of praise and at that host standing outside that do not come into us. Do not tell us what they say or whence they come or what is the meaning of this light, what those praises are, wherefore they have been sent hither, and why they do not come in. This is very, very creepy. He's outside in the darkness. All of a sudden, light's coming in. He's hearing singing. What in the world? Verse 8. If they were from Yahuwah, they would come to us in the cave and would tell us their errand. Then Adam stood up and prayed unto Yahuwah with a fervent heart and said, guys, and this is where Adam is starting to figure things out a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Verse 10. O Lord, is there in the world another God than thou, who created angels and filled them with light and sent them to keep us, who would come with them? But lo, we see these hosts that stand at the mouth of the cave. They are in a great light. They sing loud praises. If they are of some other God, then thou tell me. And if they are sent by thee, inform me of the reason for which thou hast sent them. No sooner had Adam said this than an angel from Yahuwah appeared unto him into the cave, who said unto him, O Adam, fear not. This is Satan and his hosts. He wishes to deceive you as he deceived you at first. For the first time, he was hidden in the serpent. But this time, he is come to you in the similitude of an angel of light, in order that when you worshipped him, he might enthrall you in the very presence of Yahuwah. Wow. So right there, we hear that he was hidden in the serpent, right? So the serpent was just a vessel used by this powerful Hasatan. Verse 13. Then the angel went from Adam and seized Satan at the opening of the cave and stripped him of the feint he had assumed, and brought him in his own hideous form to Adam and Eve, who were afraid of him when they saw him. And the angel said to Adam, this hideous form has been his ever since Yahuwah made him fall from heaven. He could not have come near you in it. Therefore did he transform himself into an angel of light. Then the angel drove away Satan and his host from Adam and Eve, and said unto them, fear not. Yahuwah created you, will strengthen you. And the angel went from them. But Adam and Eve remained standing in the cave. No consolation came to them. They were divided in their thoughts. And when it was morning, they prayed, and they went out to seek the garden, for their hearts were towards it, and they could get no consolation for having left it. This is very interesting, right? Again, these are newborn babes in the body of adults. They didn't know what was going on. Adam barely escaped this trick. Is this the final trick? Nope. It just gets worse and worse and worse. But this is why we must always seek Yah where he may be found. Don't just go to that singing choir outside the cave and think that you should be there, because if he would have gone out there and bowed himself to Hasatan, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to humble him in front of Yah. Trying to make us look bad in front of our dad is what he's trying to do. This is chapter 28. But when the wily Satan saw them, that they were going to the garden, he gathered together his host and came in appearance upon a cloud, intent on deceiving them. Okay, so now we know that Hasatan can transform himself into anything. Anything you want. Remember when I said earlier that Satan knows exactly what to bait his hook with to get you? He can bait himself as a fine-looking woman, and when you fall into that, he got you. Verse 2. But when Adam and Eve saw him thus in a vision, they thought they were angels of Yahuwah come to comfort them about their having left the garden, or to bring them back into it. And Adam spread his hands unto Yahuwah, beseeching him to make him understand what they were. Then Satan, the hater of all good, said unto Adam, O Adam, I am the angel of the great Yahuwah, and behold, the hosts that surround me. And that was actually true. He was an angel of Yah to begin with, and it was his host, so that's not a lie. So you got to be careful, because Hasatan will trap you in his own lie. It sounds like the truth. Yahuwah has sent me and them to take thee and bring thee to the border of the garden northwards. to the shore of the clear sea, and bathe thee and Eve in it, and raise you to your former gladness, that ye return again to the garden. Boom. Hook, line, and sinker. These words sank into the heart of Adam and Eve. This is exactly what they wanted to hear, which is exactly why we must be very cautious about things we hear, about things we think we know, because if it doesn't come from Yah, it's coming from Hasatan. Verse 7. Yet Yahuwah withheld his word from Adam, and did not make him understand at once, but waited to see his strength, whether he would be overcome as Eve was when in the garden, or whether he would prevail. Then Satan called to Adam and Eve and said, Behold, we go to the sea of water. And they began to go. And Adam and Eve followed them at some little distance. But when they came to the mountain to the north of the garden, a very high mountain, without any steps to the top of it, the devil drew near to Adam and Eve and made them go up to the top in reality, and not in a vision, wishing as he did to throw them down and kill them, and to wipe off their name from the earth, so that this earth should remain to him and his hosts alone. Okay, well, now we get the mind of Hasatan. Hasatan doesn't like us. He doesn't like human beings. We were created in a different image in him. We have a soul. This thing does not have a soul like we do. And so he has the power to make people see things that aren't there. Just so you guys understand this. All right, so this is 29. But when the merciful Yahuwah saw that Hasatan wished to kill Adam with his manifold devices, and saw that Adam was meek without guile, Yahuwah spake unto Satan in a loud voice and cursed him. Then he and his host fled, and Adam and Eve remained standing on the top of the mountain, whence they saw below them the wide world, high above them which they were. But they saw none of the host which were by them. I'm not sure what that word is, which were by them. They wept, both Adam and Eve, before Yahuwah, and begged for forgiveness of him. Then came the word of Yahuwah to Adam, and said unto him, Know thou and understand concerning this Satan, that he seeks to deceive thee, and thy seed after thee. And Adam wept before the Lord God, Yahuwah, and begged and entreated him to give him something from the garden, as a token to him where to be comforted. And Yahuwah looked upon Adam's thought, and sent the angel Michael as far as the sea that reaches unto India, to take from thence golden rods, and bring them to Adam. This did Yahuwah in his wisdom, in order that these golden rods, being with Adam in the cave, should shine forth with light in the night around him, and put an end to his fear of the darkness. Then the angel Michael went down by God's order, took golden rods as Yahuwah had commanded him, and brought them to Yahuwah. All right, here we are, 30. After these things, Yahuwah commanded the angel Gabriel to go to the garden, and say to the cherub who kept it, Behold, Yahuwah has commanded me to come into the garden, and to take thence sweet-smelling incense, and give it to Adam. Then the angel Gabriel went down by Yahuwah's order to the garden, and told the cherub as God had commanded him. Yah had commanded him. The cherub then said, Well. And Gabriel went in and took the incense. Then Yahuwah commanded his angel Raphael to go down to the garden, and speak to the cherub about some myrrh to give to Adam. And the angel Raphael went down and told the cherub as Yahuwah had commanded him. And the cherub said, Well. Then Raphael went in and took the myrrh. The golden rods were from the Indian Sea, where there are precious stones. The incense was from the eastern border of the garden, and the myrrh from the western border, whence bitterness came upon Adam. And the angels brought these things to Yahuwah by the tree of life in the garden. Then Yahuwah said to the angels, Dip them in the spring of water, then take them and sprinkle their water over Adam and Eve, that they may be a little comforted in their sorrow, and give them to Adam and Eve. And the angels did as Yahuwah commanded it, and they gave all those things to Adam and Eve on the top of the mountain which Hasatan had placed them, when he sought to make an end of them. And when Adam saw the golden rods, the incense and the myrrh, he rejoiced and wept, because he thought that the gold was a token of the kingdom whence he had come, that the incense was a token of the bright light which had been taken from him, and that the myrrh was a token of the sorrow in which he was. All right, I will probably have to pause here because my ceiling and my roof sounds very loud, very noisy, and hopefully it's not too messing with these stories as I'm reading them to you guys. It's a wild story. It is a wild world, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm out.